Welcome back to Bravo Breaking News with Kim and Lisa. Last week's bombshell that was dropped on us during Real Housewives of Orange County about the videos of Shannon still has me reeling. But this week, guys, Alexis revealed exactly what was on them, and it's not pretty.
No, it's definitely not pretty. We also have Gina confronting Emily and La Quinta. And then at the end, we have Tamara and Shannon seemingly making up after their pretty dramatic sit down. But is it genuine?
As always, I've got a lot of thoughts and opinions, and we're going to dive into them all. But before we do, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more Bravo Breaking News.
Okay, so we wake up. So this episode, we're starting with everyone's waking up in La Quinta and they're waking up in Big Bear. Now, let's focus on La Quinta first because the girls are having breakfast and Shannon is in a very vulnerable state. And she brings up the lawsuit, that John Jansen is suing her for $75,000. She says she has receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots that she paid for a lot of stuff during their relationship, especially in the early parts of their relationship. And she claims that the money John gave her was an attempt to sort of pay her back or reimburse her for all the money that she had spent on him during their time together. So that was kind of her defense, I guess. And she brings up this vacation that they took to LA with his whole family, and she paid for 4 nights or for 4 rooms at the London, which that is expensive. And, but she said, I was happy to do it. It wasn't something that bothered her because she thought this man was her forever. And, the fact that he's now coming after her is just really tearing her down. And we see her just have a complete breakdown.
Yeah, this scene was really, really tough to watch. It was really raw and really real. Like, she thought they were in a partnership. She thought she was happy to pay for things. And she also, said that, the money that he then gave her for her facelift, $35K for the facelift, $30K for other miscellaneous TBD, we don't know, that was just kind of like reciprocated based upon how much she spent early on in their relationship. So I don't know, but out of principle, she talks about this lawsuit. She doesn't want to give him $1, and neither would I. I mean,
no,
he is coming at her in all directions. And this lawsuit, Alexis pulled up the wire transfers the other night, but that means nothing. That doesn't show that this was a loan and that he was expecting to be paid back. But she is so upset by this. Yet another lawsuit she has to deal with that Alexis Bellino is involved in. And how much, these women are rich, but they're not made of money. These lawsuits can have really, damaging impacts on, their lifestyles and, they support their kids. She's paying for her kids' college. So I don't know. I feel really bad for her, but it was really, really nice to see these ladies rallying around Shannon. I wish Tamara were there, but of course she's not because she's the most terrible friend on Bravo. But we have Heather, Emily, and Gina really rallying around her and supporting her. But then Heather kind of threw some shade in the confessional.
Yeah, that was really surprising because Heather's in the confessional saying, the prosecution tells a very convincing story, and you have to remind yourself that you need to wait to hear the defense. I thought she was going to say, and that defense is Shannon. No, she says, and that defense or in that prosecution is Shannon. And I was like, wait, I'm sorry, what? So you're saying that Shannon is telling this story or spinning this story, and you think John is now telling his side, and you're like, oh, okay, now I get it. So I don't know what Heather is doing, but I did not like that one bit. And I just hope that she doesn't let Shannon down because they are in a really good place. They've had a very tumultuous past, as we know. And she, is supporting her to her face. So I thought it was very strange that Heather said that in the confessional. And let's not forget that even if she doesn't end up having to pay John this money, she's still going to be out thousands of dollars in legal fees. And that's why Emily said, just offer him a settlement and call it a day because you're going to spend more than 30 grand, just in legal fees alone. And that's where Shannon gets to, it's the principle of it. I'm not paying him $1. So I don't know. It's very messy. And I really feel for her.
To me, it seems like Shannon is on the defense. She is not the one coming after John. John is the one that is always coming after her. I mean, pretty much all she's told us about John is, one, yes, he's a monster. Okay, and that's not great, but she's not really divulging details. All we know is that they got in fights during their relationship, which, okay, that's fine. Yeah, he's kind of a monster, and that she paid for everything. Is she really divulging anything that absurd for him to like go after her with this much fury and force? Like, it just is not making sense to me. And the other ladies feel the same. I mean, I think Emily mentioned something about it later on in the episode, but don't you agree? It's kind of crazy how he's coming at her like this.
Yes, like Alexis keeps saying, if she keeps running her mouth, she keeps defaming him. What has she said that's so defamatory? Like, he was, last season we heard he's made comments about her weight. Okay, well, that's an asshole thing to do. That's not necessarily going to ruin his life. So I don't know what they're talking about, but it sounds like Shannon could be saying a lot more than she is. And
100%. Like, I want her to at this point.
And Emily said on Watch What Happens, I forget if she said it in the episode or not, because it would be breaking the fourth wall, but she said something like, I think the timing is very curious. Why is he coming at her with this lawsuit now while they're filming? Right? It's like he could have filed this months prior, but no, he waited until they were filming.
I mean, the math isn't mathing across the board. And, there's more to discuss regarding Lexi and Johnny J. But first, let's head over to La Quinta because Emily and Gina play pickleball. I guess does the home they're staying in have a pickleball court? Kind of cool. I mean, it's a $9 million home, so I would expect nothing less. But Emily kind of goes straight after Gina. She's calling her out about the Katie and Heather thing and how, basically Gina's kissing Heather's ass. And I have to agree. It just seems like she brought Katie on as her friend. And as soon as Heather was like, I'm mad at you, Gina is bowing down to Heather. She's scared to piss off Fancy Pants because let's be real. I think it's almost like a Kathy Hilton vibe in Beverly Hills. This woman is powerful. She has a lot of money. She can, I don't know, maybe, she's also kind of like in real estate, like redoing all of these houses. And, Gina is a real estate agent. So I think that is kind of part of their relationship and why Gina wants to stay on her good side. And I don't know, Gina is like coming right back at Emily saying like, you become the grand bitch aggressor. And I don't agree with that at all. I think Emily is kind of coming after Jen for the whole, you don't have any money. Why are you flaunting your Rolex type of thing? But how else is Emily really being aggressive? I don't really see it. I mean, she did say she had a paddle and she wasn't afraid to use it, yet she didn't use it on Gina, so she should be lucky. But I don't know. This whole thing with Emily and Gina, I don't really know where to stand. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that Emily probably has changed a little bit. You know how when you hang out with someone and you kind of just absorb their mannerisms and their way of speaking. And sometimes it happens without you even realizing it. I think that's kind of what happened with Emily and Tamara. And Gina noticed it and Emily didn't. And so, it doesn't feel good for her to call her out. But I totally agree. I think Gina is scared of Fancy Pants. I think Fancy Pants knows a lot of people and she does not want to rock that boat. So they both have valid points. And at one point, Gina tries to walk away. She's like, I can't deal with this. And then she's like, my God, the sprinklers are on. And then she can't get back into the house. Like every door she tries is locked. She's trying to get around the sprinklers. And so Emily's finally catching up to her and saying, where are you going? And she's like, I'm trying to walk away, but I can't. That must be so infuriating. You're trying to get away from this fight and you literally can't escape. But it was good because it forced them to come together. They eventually talked it out and decided, you know what, like they are true friends and they don't want to be fighting like this. And, you know, Gina said, what if we end up like Tamara and Shannon? They were so close and now they, you know, are enemies. And Emily says, well, they're like really fucked up. And Gina's like crying, saying, I know, they're really fucked up.
I couldn't agree more.
I died.
I couldn't agree more, though. I mean, they're calling it like they see it. And I think it's more about Tamara than Shannon. I mean, they're on the trip with Shannon. Yeah. And I think they're saying that the way that Tamara moves in life is fucked up. And that's what I took from it. But let's hop over to Big Bear because the ladies are packing up. They're getting ready to go. And once again, John Jansen is choosing to FaceTime or call Lexi while they're filming in Big Bear and reveal something about Shannon. Now, we don't like see the conversation, but we get Alexis, you know, getting the call from John. Like, I'm going to lose it. Like, the gloves are coming off. Like, and like totally freaking out. What is John saying to her? And why is he calling her while he knows that cameras are there with them in Big Bear? It's all set up. This was all a plan. Why can't he just like shoot her a text or wait 2 hours till she gets fucking home? Like, let's be real. So
because he is parched, Kim. He's parched. He's so thirsty.
Oh my God. Like, you're not fooling anybody with this. And she gets in this confessional and she's like, John has had enough. He's had it up to here. Something happened that she can't reveal that, you know, pretty much drew the line for John and pushed him to the limit. What is this? What happened? What did Shannon do? Is it have to do with this $75,000 lawsuit or is it something else?
Yeah, I don't know. And that's what I can't stand. If you're going to be dramatic and call and then throw a big fit about it, but then not reveal it, like, I'm sorry, I don't have the time. Let's fast forward. No. You know what? Better yet, let's fast forward to the part where Lexi and John break up. She realizes what a piece of shit he is, and her and Shannon trauma bond over what a piece of shit he is. Not dissimilar to Kristen and Ariana and Tom Sandoval. Like, let's just fast forward there because I am so tired of talking about this man. He's literally the main storyline.
I'm sick of it. I would be happy if I never heard his name again. And I know we talked about this last week, but I was kind of excited for Alexis to come back. You know, she gave us some iconic seasons of Real Housewives of Orange County. But literally the only thing she is bringing is being a mouthpiece for John Jansen. And honestly, we don't want to hear about it. We're sick of hearing about it. She's dragging Shannon. And now in interviews, she's saying, oh, you know, I'm scared of the fan backlash. I don't like what people are saying about me. I thought that people would be feeling that way about Shannon. It's like, are you in your right mind? Like, look at what you are doing. You are basically blackmailing this woman. You're saying that we have footage and that she's a piece of shit. And then we get, oh my gosh, like we get this scene of Emily and Katie. And, you know, Alexis at Big Bear doesn't want to reveal like what the thing is. But then we have Katie saying when she's shopping with Emily that John had it up to here. He's going to release the videos of Shannon. And one of those videos is Ring camera footage of her almost running over his daughter. And I don't know. What did you think when you heard that? Because we know that, you know, what is on those videos is probably not great, but it's kind of stuff that we already expected to see. But this, it's kind of serious, don't you think?
It's definitely serious, but I also thought, well, it was clearly an accident. Like, Shannon is not the type of person that is going to want to kill someone out of rage. I'm sorry, she's just not. She would never intentionally run over someone, even if he despised them or their father. Like, she's just, I'm sorry, she's not that crazy. And so she was obviously drunk. Maybe she started backing up, not realizing, you know, they were back there. Or maybe she thought she put it in drive and she put it in reverse and like started, you know, almost hit his daughter or something. But which is, of course, not great, but like that accidents can happen. So if they're trying to paint it as, oh, she was so mad that she deliberately tried to run over his daughter, I'm sorry, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it.
I agree with you 100%. I had a similar theory too. First of all, does this mean that John's daughter was there the night of the DUI? Like, is that what they're talking about? And number two, the way I would picture it is almost like John's daughter was trying to diffuse the situation. Maybe she was the one that was trying to keep Shannon from getting in the car. This is like what I picture in my head. John's daughter is kind of like chasing after Shannon as she's getting in her car. You know, please don't go, like doing the right thing. And then Shannon maybe starts backing up while his daughter is like standing there, and maybe she almost runs over her toes or something like that. Like, I think that they are going to take this, you know, whatever story and paint it to be the biggest, most awful thing that somebody could do without really releasing the tape. So we won't know what happened. We only have their word. And honestly, like, beyond all of this, they could say that, like, Shannon tried to kill John Jansen. I don't know. They could never make me hate Shannon. I'm sorry. Like, at this point, I don't know. Maybe something will make me hate her. But as of now, they will never make me hate her. I will never believe Alexis and John over Shannon.
No.
And I don't know why they think people will. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is exactly where they've gone wrong, and where Alexis particularly has gone wrong, because she has picked the wrong team. If you look at any post, the comments are all pro Shannon and very anti Lexi and Johnny J. And it's like her saying, like, I didn't expect this backlash. Well, you probably should have thought it through. So it's clear that she picked the wrong team. And I'm sorry, she's got to deal with the consequences, because she is feeding into this.
I agree 100%. I could have seen it coming from a mile away.
And the other thing, Emily made such a good point. If they are so happy and in love, why are they focusing on this? Why not just ride into the sunset and like enjoy each other and be happy and in love? Why are they involving themselves in this drama? Like, it's because it's fake. It's fake. Like, he's using her, she's using him, and that's what it is. Nothing
makes sense. This so-called man who wants to be private is dating all these reality stars and continuing to put things out as they're filming, waiting till production picks up cameras in order to file lawsuits, in order to reveal that there's videos, using Alexis as his mouthpiece. It's like, are they both stupid? Because this is not doing either of them any favors. Alexis went on the show and thinks people are going to be on her side over Shannon. Does John also think that all of this is going to make us be on his side? No. Sorry. Nope. Not going to happen.
All right. So let's take a break from Johnny J and go to Ryan and Jen, who are getting mani-pedis together, which I think is fun. You know, she gives us a little more about her backstory with her ex-husband, saying that she kind of had to beg him to make time for her and to do things with her. And now it seems like he's really happy and lighter with his new girlfriend, who happens to be her former friend. So that, you know, that's a new tidbit that we didn't know. So he's with this woman who used to be their interior designer and Jen was very good friends with. And, you know, now they're trying to co-parent together, and it seems like it's not going that smoothly. And Jen just she's like, I don't understand why we can't just get along, basically. I think she's come to terms with it, that he's with a friend of hers and she's obviously moved on. So, all right, let's move on for the kids' sake. And now the one thing I do have to say is that I love a secure man. Okay. I have no problem with a guy going and getting his nails done. I beg my husband to do it. He has no interest. But Ryan picked white nail polish only for his big toes. And then on top of that, he got a little heart gem. Okay. But it's the white nail polish that might be a red flag for me, because we all know Tom Sandoval is a big proponent of white nail polish. And I'm just hoping it's not an omen.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It could definitely be an ohm, as Teresa Giudice says. So, yeah, I don't know. But you know me, I can't help but root for Ryan and Jen. Here's how I see it. Jen is coming with a lot of baggage, right? She's coming to Ryan with a lot of baggage. He's supporting her 100%. Now, as we saw in the midseason trailer, it's Ryan's turn to bring the baggage with the whole situation with the bookie and the Dodgers player, I don't know, gambling, whatever it is. I don't really know, to be honest. But I don't know. I think that the way they are wholeheartedly supporting each other is, I don't know, it makes me want to root for them. So I'm still going to continue to root for them. Jury's still out. You know, of course, we see Shannon turning on Jen, even though they're on good terms right now, you know, after the Ryan stuff comes out. So surprise, surprise, Tamara, you know, just shoots down her friend once again when they're in a dark place. But speaking of Tamara, we end with a scene of Tamara and Shannon meeting. So Jen kind of set this up, and Tamara's on her way. And it's funny, we get a first, I think, on Housewives, Tamara FaceTiming Jen when she's in a confessional. Now, maybe we've seen this like on Vanderpump Rules before, but I thought it was kind of cool. You know, I always thought that the confessionals came way later, but I do like the fact that we now know that they're filming the confessionals while they're filming the season. So things are fresh, feelings are, you know, fresh in their mind. Love to see it. They arrive at Mozambique, which is a Laguna Beach institution. They film there a lot. And I don't know, they immediately start going at it. I mean, Tamara's basically like, I thought you were going to reach out to me. And Shannon's like, excuse me?
In what world? In what world, Tamara?
The last dinner, Tamara was berating her. You are an alcoholic. You have a drug problem. And Shannon reminds her of that and is like, you've literally been defaming me for the last 8 weeks. Why on earth would I reach out to you? And I completely agree.
100%. Tamara's delusional at this point if she thought that Shannon was going to be the first to reach out to her. And then immediately she starts mocking Shannon, saying, it is like that. It is like that. And I'm like, Tamara, 5 seconds ago, you were in the car FaceTiming Jen saying, okay, I'm going to lead with my heart, not my butthole. You're leading with your butthole, Tamara. I think she just can't help it. That is who she is. So she, even when she tries, like her default is just leading with her butthole. And I know that's
agreed,
but her words.
Agreed.
So she kind of is trying to get Shannon to admit that she has a problem with alcohol. And Shannon says, I will admit that I've used alcohol as a coping mechanism when I've been in dark places, and that has been unhealthy. But she doesn't go as far to say as she's an alcoholic. And Tamara seems like she's kind of pushing her. She wants to hear those words, and nothing less is going to satisfy her. And, you know, Shannon kind of brings up, you know, you're not an angel. I've seen you in compromising situations. And Tamara hits her with, well, have I ever driven my car into a house? And at that point, Shannon just shuts down and she says, you know what? I need a minute. She gets up and walks away and excuses herself. And I thought she handled that very beautifully because she could have easily raged. And I just little detour here. Every time they film in a restaurant, I love that they seat them not off to the side, not in the back, unless it's like a big private room. They literally put them right in the middle of the restaurant and you can see all the tables around them. And they're having this heated conversation. And I'm sure everyone is just, listening and trying to hear. But it's just so funny to me that they always put them right in the middle. So she goes to the bathroom. She storms out as usual. But they're not sure if Shannon's coming back.
If there's one thing that Shannon storms the door is going to do, it's storm out. I mean, that is her signature move. And I think it's for the best. Instead of raging, she just steps away from the situation. And I admire that and respect it. But of course, Tamara's going to take another dig. Oh, is she going to get another drink?
Right.
Fuck you, Tamara. No, you just demolished her once again. She's going to the bathroom to cry her eyes out. Take a moment, and she's basically saying, talk about kicking somebody when they're down. Everything that Tamara says is a low blow, and Shannon is not going to stoop to that level. Shannon could say, oh, your daughter doesn't talk to you. Oh, your family, you have issues with some of your kids, your family. There are a lot of things that Shannon could bring up, but she doesn't because she is taking the high road, and I love that about her. She does come back to the table. She takes her breath, comes back to the table, and, she starts going at her about the last time they saw her. It's what do you expect me to react like? The last time I saw you at that dinner, you were yelling at me. And on top of it, you are backing Alexis Bellino, my sworn enemy, in everything she says. It's what does she expect to happen?
Yeah. And so Shannon does reveal to Tamara that she's involved in yet another lawsuit. John is suing her for $75,000. And she says, today my lawyer made a settlement offer and he rejected it. He said, I'm not taking a penny under 75 because, once again, he's a piece of shit. And it seems like this was new information to Tamara because once she heard this, she did start to soften. And she says, I remember when Shannon and I went through the other lawsuit with Jim Bellino, and it was devastating. And we really trauma bonded over it. And so she's kind of coming to that realization. But it's why did it take that to realize that you're pushing your friend too hard and this is someone who needs support and not to be torn down? So I don't know. Tamara is the worst type of friend. It's she doesn't want to see other people happy. She doesn't want to see other people succeed. And even when they're down, she wants them to be down further. So I don't like it. But then all of a sudden she's like, I'm sorry. And I don't want to hurt you. I really want the best for you. They hug it out. And I just want to say, Shannon, please proceed with caution. Tamara has hurt you really badly. And I just don't want you to jump back into what you had because it's familiar. She's showing you all these red flags. So just please, be careful there. And she invites her and Vicky to a party that she's having. So I'm sure we're going to see that in the next episode. And it kind of, seems at the moment, in that moment, they're okay.
I'm not buying it. How quickly that switch flipped about a lawsuit that they already had talked about at the dinner before. Tamara acting like she knew nothing about it and all of a sudden felt bad for Shannon. I don't know. It was very strange to me and it did not come off genuine at all. I almost think that the invitation to the party is a setup because you know who else is going to be there? Alexis Bellino. And I don't know. I didn't watch the preview for next week, but I mean, it just seems like the most inauthentic thing. It doesn't make sense to me why Tamara all of a sudden made up with her unless she just realized man, I am being a shitty friend. But I don't think that they're on good terms now. Tamara is continuing to side with Lexi in interviews now. So I don't think that this sticks. I don't think that this is real. I think that Tamara is just trying to, I don't know, make amends for the moment to maybe put Tamara or put Shannon in another compromising position. So I don't know. That's my theory. We will see what happens next week. We have a lot more to come, as the mid-season trailer did give us this week. So make sure you guys subscribe. We will be back next week to cover more Real Housewives of Orange County.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.